The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Play Some Video Games, the flagship show of the PSVG Podcast Network. With me this evening, as my co-host, is the very prestigious Sir Nathan Thomas from State of the Xbox Empire, and That's Entertaining. Sir, how are we doing tonight?
We are doing quite well indeed. I have enjoyed some delicious beverages, so hopefully this doesn't get too off the rails and crazy, but everything's going okay. We're all fine here. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, this isn't PSVG DLC, so I'll keep my finger on the censor button just in case. And that laugh, if you couldn't tell, the other co-host this evening is Mr. Dev Tyus from, of course, the PSVG OT. How we doing, sir?
I am warm, actually. I'm doing good, unlike some of you frostbitten people out there.
So I want to point out real quick. I see you wearing a hoodie, right? I'm wearing a hoodie. And Kevin, you're wearing a hoodie. It's like super cold over here. But over on the West Coast, you're just like wearing a hoodie because, you know, it's a little chilly.
I mean, if you know me, I pretty much live in a hoodie. If I could live in a hoodie and basketball shorts, that would be my everyday attire. They're comfortable, and I get cold really easily, so that's the reason why I live on the West Coast, because I couldn't deal with y'all winters. No.
Thin skin.
Yeah.
So speaking of PSVG DLC, we should take a quick time out now while we're at it to thank our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/PSVG. And if you support us on the Patreon, you can get that exclusive PSVG DLC uncensored show where you never quite know what's going to happen. So if you're interested, hit up that website. But we do have to thank our amazing Patreon producers, Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Dev Tyus, Kevin Austin, Chris M., Kyle Heyman, The Bonesaw, Josh Bourboni, Barry Cathcart, and Paul Calicote. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. And like I said, if you want to see what we have up our sleeves and maybe support us with $1 or $2, head on over to patreon.com/PSVG.
Thanks, buddies.
Yeah. So before we kind of get into the show, guys, something popped up in my timeline today that I honestly didn't know was coming. And I know Nathan saw it via LinkedIn, actually. So
this is true.
PSVG started 3 years ago today.
Oh, wow.
Was that fateful day that Donnie decided to pull the trigger and start reaching out to people. And I mean, that's just nuts when you think back to what we started, what we've done, the explosion of content, now the full blown network we got going on. It's crazy the amount of stuff we've done. So Nathan, I'll throw it to you first. How does it feel, man? You were there from the get go. So you were stage one. 3 years, man.
So 3 years is a long time to do a lot of things. And it's quite interesting that it's been about that long now since the inception of the Donster reaching out to the Kevster and saying, "Sup about these video games," right?
Not to be confused with the conception of PSVG, just the inception we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I know you guys hadn't met each other yet, but if you had, maybe we'd be talking about something else. But anyway, it's cool, right? We've been through a lot. We started just as, you know, just a show. I think it was you, me, and Donnie on the first show talking about stuff, and I think Kyle was in the chat doing fact checking.
Yep.
So that was pretty fun, and you know, we've come a long way since then. We've had some lost episodes along the way. We've had some interesting things happen, you know, from the team side. We've had, you know, the explosion of the content, the elation of this is our first review code. You know, it's been a lot, and it's cool to just kind of think back of it and just be like, this has been a fun ride so far. And it's one of those things where it's nice to see it all come together, right? You know, the reason why we're doing this is not we're not trying to be IGN or anything like that. We're not trying to be like the place to go to. We're just guys and ladies, just having fun. Just that we like to play some video games. We like to talk about them, and it's just a fun time. And it's been a fun ride. I'm glad to have been here along the way with you.
Agreed. You're right. It's funny. Like, our first review code. Now it's like we don't want to do reviews anymore. Like, do we have to do these reviews? Yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, like, like you said, the life
intern.
Yeah, right. That's what we need. But like you think, like even like you said, the life events of us all like kind of pseudo through the internet meeting each other, and some of us in real life having met each other, just like the life events we've had, the children that some of us have had, and it's just, dude, it's nuts to think of how much time has passed already. But so Dev, now you weren't here with us from the start, but obviously you're a very pivotal member, especially at this point of the crew. So number one, why don't you share with everyone in case they don't know how you came into the fold with the rest of the team, and then maybe your first PSVG memory at all.
Yeah, so I remember Donnie just put out a tweet. It was just like, we need help. Anybody want to join up? So I was like, oh man, I've been looking to get into something with this. And I remembered, talking with Donnie on Twitter and also from the Married to the Games forums, just going back and forth with him. Yes, we've been doing that since since the dawn of time. So I just remember seeing that and just looking at the opportunity, knowing there was something that I wanted to do, and knowing a lot of the guys that were doing PSVG. So I was like, yeah, let me jump in. So I was just like really excited to have the opportunity and for Donnie to be like, yeah, come on board, man. What do you want to do? And I always was worried about the time difference being like an issue as far as being on a podcast or anything like that. So I was just very, I took my time going into it because I didn't know if I was really going to be able to be a contributing member just because that time difference in life and the way it gets in the way of things sometimes. So that was, just awesome. And I remember just my first memory really is like the first podcast that I was on. I think it was like 4 or 5 of us, and we were talking about a lot of PlayStation stuff, and it was just really, really cool to be a part of it. And it was before we started doing video. It was all just audio. Yep. So you kind of had to wait and try to interject. You couldn't see the facial expressions and know like when to interject. So I remember having like Skype and everything ready, had the webcam, had the good mic and everything, just waiting. And like, oh, you don't even do video. I'll just call on you stuff. So that was it was really cool. And I'm just elated to still be here. I think it's 2 years later now. Yeah. And just to be a part of it, just all the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of PSVG, the partnerships, the dissolving of partnerships, the people coming and going. It's a lot of fun, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm here. I'm here to the end. I'm here as long as I can be.
Amen. And Donnie's stuck with it now. Really, he can't even like reverse the decision because now we just outnumber him. Like if he decides to pull the plug, he's letting down a lot of more people than just him saying I don't want to do this anymore. So, all right. But before we get into the news and topics of discussion tonight, let's talk a little bit, or a lot of it, I think, in this case, of what we've been playing. Now, I know this week's a little bit different. There's actually some overlap in what we've been playing. We're actually relevant with our games this week, guys. This is amazing. So I think we're going to have to break it all down together. So first, kind of the big news last week, and it was rumored, and then next thing it came out, and then, hey, it's available now, was from Respawn, the developers of Titanfall, Apex Legends, right? Apex Legends, that's the official title. So I just call it Apex at this point. The new battle, the battle royale type game, squad based, released out and it's had over 10 million players already, with over 1 million concurrent players at any given time. It's insane. And we've all been playing it. So I think we'll pause here and kind of talk a little bit about what we like, what we don't like, maybe just some early impressions, because I do know it's only been out for less than a week, I think, at this point since we're recording it. But for me, in case you don't know, it's a little bit different than your normal battle royale. Number one, 60 players instead of the traditional 100 we're seeing, which they did state that may change in the future, and I think it will, because having played a few rounds, that map sometimes does feel empty. Like it can take a long time before you run into people. You don't see as many people as you might in other battle royale games.
Well, I like that aspect though. It reminds me of PUBG, where you run across a person and then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, Yeah. I don't want a densely populated battle royale game, because that just kind of takes away from that, the solitude of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which I agree, but I want to be able to play solo then if that's happening. Because like you're pretty much tied to a squad in this one. Like it is very hard for you to last very long if you're completely alone with the way the dynamic of the game's built. But no, I'm with you. I do like, dropping in a location and not feeling like I have to grab a weapon within the first 10 seconds and start shooting in order to live. So I'm with you there. But I do think like I would sometimes go in a couple matches. I'd go like 10, 15 minutes and not see anybody. And I'm like, to me, that's really nuts. A little too much, but you're with teams of 3. You cannot do solo. You cannot do, duos. You can't do 4 people. It's just a 3-player dynamic. But some of the cool things you can do is you can actually drop in together. And you're kind of attached at the hip. You can break off from that if you so choose to, but it kind of benefits you guys to stick together. So I do like that aspect of it. And the unique ability to ping items and enemies and stuff on the map just by a button press instead of having to call it out is pretty darn sweet.
Because how many times have you been playing PUBG and duos or something and be like, hey, here's a backpack level 2.
Yeah.
And you just ping it in this game and it just does it for you. And it's like, that's awesome.
Yep. They say it like you just ping it like
is awesome.
It is.
I
so
absolutely
great.
love it.
It is so great. And the other major difference here is kind of the hero dynamic. So you have different characters in here. It's not like your standard character you customize with clothes and stuff like that. You can still do that in this, but you're picking a specific team member that has a special power move and abilities that are unique to that type of character. And you can't develop a squad of the same characters. Like each of you pick a different person. You have a selecting order. So there's some mixing and matching and some kind of team dynamics that will give you an advantage or a disadvantage depending on your play style. But overall, so far, I played probably 3-4 hours of it. I'm digging it. While I'm not crazy about not being able to do solo, that's pretty much the only negative I have to say right now. It's running fantastic. So already an improvement over PUBG. As far as runtime, especially since the snow map, I'm getting some major glitches in PUBG. But you still have the customization of your weapons. You have your scopes, you have your stocks, which PUBG has, which Fortnite does not have. So it runs like Fortnite, but plays more like PUBG with some overall quality of life improvements, I think, so far. But Dev, your overall thoughts on Apex so far?
So for me, it feels like Overwatch and PUBG had a baby and then threw themselves into the Borderlands universe. Just from the way some of the characters are, like if you actually look at their bios and see how they talk, like they just feel like characters, like they belong in the Borderlands universe. I really appreciate the fact that the characters are all diverse. So it's not just a bunch of, just the dude bro guys. You have a actually diverse like set of characters. So that's a lot of fun. The pinging and just like the way you traverse the map. I like the fact that it actually doesn't have as many people, because it adds a lot more tension to the fights when you actually finally do come across somebody. So I really enjoy that. And while, yes, I'd love to be able to get in there solo, I like the fact that even though that you're with, 2 more people, it still feels like you don't have to rely on them so much because you have the ping. You can call things out. You can spread out. And it makes it easier actually to stick with your teammate because they're calling stuff out. They're pinging this, they're pinging that. So you can kind of move forward together as a group. And if they see an enemy, they can point them out. And it's not, you don't have to be on voice chat. Like I think this is like revolutionary in terms of being able to communicate without having to be on a mic. Like they've done something that is just really, really good with that system.
So I saw in a tweet today along that point that they play tested this for a number of weeks with randomized like fake names and no mics, and learned how to communicate without having any sort of, verbal communication styles. So because of that playtest, with them doing it with that approach, they kind of were able to understand, okay, these are the basics and this is what works. And that's really shining through.
Oh my God, absolutely. I was like so trepidatious of going in with the squad member or having to go in with people and not be able to be solo. And then once you get in, you can actually all drop in together. You can have somebody actually control where you drop in. Funny story about that. We dropped in on like my first game. We dropped in on like the supply ship and lost the dude right away because they were able to get guns right away and just like dumped on some dude. So I was like, oh, well, that was unexpected. But just the way it moves, the way it feels, like it has that Titanfall feel. If you play Titanfall, the way they can slide around and how fast you can actually move when you put away your weapon. So I really enjoy the movement. Like you don't feel cumbersome or slowed down. So you have a lot of options as far as that is concerned. And it just feels really smooth. It feels like it's a very, very polished game. So it shows that they really put a lot of effort into this game. And I'm amazed it's free to play, to be perfectly honest. They could have easily charged for this, I think, because it's a full on experience. I really enjoy it. It's not my type of game, but it's if I were to play a battle royale game, this would be the one that I would go to, just because I really enjoyed the feel and the polish of it, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if Call of Duty can charge for Blackout, there was no reason that they couldn't have charged for this, because I'm liking this more than I like Blackout, to be honest. And it's amazing the quality of this, and the fact that we heard nothing about it before it dropped, other than like a few days prior, is mind boggling to me. Yeah. But anyway, Nathan, your thoughts?
I have so many thoughts. So, along with you guys, I heard about the game and I was curious about it. Here's a free battle royale game by the Titanfall developers in the Titanfall universe. First off, I thought I had to put in Titanfall 2 and, download a mode and stuff. And I was like, okay, so before I was trying to get Titanfall 2 reinstalled to get everything going again. But, then I realized it was its own separate thing. So, just a couple points of note. When I first pulled this game out and I was doing the tutorial level, first off, that tutorial is kind of odd. It is a little weird.
Yeah.
It puts you as a character that I've never actually played as in the game yet. It's the healing class, one of the healer class that has the droid, whatever you want to call it, drone droid. And
it's not the droid you're looking for.
It is not, exactly. But it's really cool in the way that it just kind of shows you, hey, this is the ping system. This is, movement around. It's the super basic stuff. You really, though, need to start playing to really understand what's going on, the map, anything like that. Because I don't think there's a way to really explore the map without playing. Yeah. And that could be just something to add later on. But anyway, so when I first dropped in for the first time, my experience was not super great. I got one grenade kill, and then all of a sudden, like, my game crashed, my Xbox froze, and I was like, oh, this is not good. So, hard powered off, came back later because I had to go do something anyway. And, but then after I came back, I've never had any issues with it. Dropping in that first time, I'm like, what is going on here? Why can't I control anything?
Yeah, they didn't mention that before. Yeah,
exactly. So it would be nice. And I was listening to Podcast Unlocked today and they were talking about it. Wouldn't it have been great if that tutorial level, it says, okay, now here's a video of the basics of like dropping in and all this other stuff. But they've taken with Battle Royale games, I've played PUBG. And that's really the only one I've played so far. I tried the Red Dead one once, but I had an issue and I dropped out of that. Red Dead Online is still not the way it needs to be. But anyway, we're not talking about Red Dead. We're talking about Apex Legends. And I was really impressed with, like you said, Dev, the polish of this game. This is based on the source code. This is based on the same thing that built Half-Life. Most other Battlefront or EA games use the Frostbite engine, right? Mm-hmm. But Titanfall, the series so far, has still used that source code. And the fact, to your point, Kevin, that you said, Blackout charges X amount for this thing, for Respawn to do this exact move and put this game out as a free to play and just say, here, play it, is a smack and a vindication, when it comes to what happened with that whole team and the break when they left Activision and the Call of Duty franchise, Yep. So I think it's a bit of a vindication on that side, but at the same time, what's also really interesting is that this is coming from EA. This is from the EA house. Next month, Battlefront 5's Battle Royale mode comes out.
Battlefield. Yeah.
Yeah. Battlefield. Too many battles and fields and fronts and things. But it's kind of interesting that this kind of, going to be a competitor to that in a way. And it's exactly the opposite of what happened before. Remember where Titanfall 2 dropped, and then right away they dropped Battlefield, whatever version that was. And it kind of cannibalized that issue.
Yeah. So
it was really kind of interesting there. Anyway, this game, the ping system is revolutionary from what I've played. You mark the item, you call it out. You can even thank the person who marked it.
Yeah.
So it builds that kind of appreciation, and it's building that community up. It's I love just that little thing about hitting the D-pad up and saying thank you. I love that, right? There's not enough of that in gaming. And then, the first thing I said to myself too, the first time I pulled the trigger on a gun, I was like, man, this feels good.
Mhm.
Why haven't I played more Titanfall 2? You know?
That game. Ooh, yeah. Real
But
talk.
the second thing, I was like, why can't I wall jump? So,
Yeah.
or wall run. So the controls and everything, you're not a pilot. You know, you're these different kind of characters. You're these hero classes, as we've mentioned. And I think it's really cool. And I like the way that, you know, you have 8 characters to choose from. 6 are unlocked from the get-go. And then there's 2 more that are locked out. But you have the ability to have it. If you have a group of 3 guys or 3 gamers, I say guys, I use it in a gender neutral term. It's just my terminology. Sorry. You have a group of 3 players together and they get together and they say, okay, I'm going to run healer class, right? If you have a good healer in a battle royale game, you're going to go far, right? Because they're going to be able to heal you up. They're going to be able to revive you quicker. And then it's just, it makes so much sense. I've not really what's it called? Overwatch never really clicked with me. But after playing a round of this game, I'm like, I get it. I understand it. Yep. You know, the hero classes, the different abilities, the big dude with the gun and you aim down the sights and a shield pops up.
Yep.
That just makes so much sense. And you have a healer behind him to kind of keep him going. There's just ways. So the armor system in this, you can have the different classes of armor and you can re-heal your shields as you go through. There's just so much about this game and it does right out of the gate. Like, I am so impressed with this game. I even bought the little starter pack, the $5 pack, because I'm like, I've played this for 5 hours. I'm giving you guys at least $5.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Totally.
And I'm very tempted to get the founders pack, even though I don't care about the skin for that character. I'm just like, here's another, you know, if I play another 10 hours in this game, I probably will just to say, you know, I approve of your game. Exactly. Because for them to come out and do this, drop it like this without any pomp and circumstance, just goes to show you that viral marketing is legit, right?
Yeah.
It's a real thing. And if you can hit with your audience and you drop something unexpected, that generates more conversation than the slow ramp. So I think, you know, a lot of media can learn from this. There should be no Star Wars Episode 9 trailer because we're all going to go see it, right? Or Episode 8, whatever's coming out. I don't even know anymore. There should be no trailer for the next Avengers movie because we're all going to go see it. You can put out a poster that's with a date. That's all we need. The next Halo game, don't even market it. You know, just trust in your audience. Your fan base is going to want it. They're going to know. You're going to just give them a date and they'll say, we're going to be there. Don't have to, if you have a good story heavy game, especially, don't worry about it. This game has no story, but still had the best build up and launch that you never even knew that you wanted until you heard about it, you know? So I don't know, there's a lot to be said about this. And I know I've talked way too much, but I just really enjoy what I've seen so far from this. I am floored by Respawn for taking this approach, for doing it, for having the guts to do it. And it heartens me for what we might see from the Star Wars game that they're actually still working on. It's still supposed to come out later this year. Maybe we'll get a Star Wars Battle Royale. You know, they'll see the success of it and they'll try to tag on a Battle Royale mode. Hopefully, you know, it's not just a tag on, but you know what I mean. Yeah. But I don't know. I really enjoy what I'm seeing here and I'm excited. You know, I want to just go play more right now. Like literally after we get done, if y'all want to go play, I want to be on Xbox and I'll see you there.
Well, Dev doesn't play Xbox, but
he's got next, man. Come on,
he does. So I will say,
hold on, wait. Can I say something real quick?
No, you haven't said anything. So
I need to say one more thing. You can get an Xbox One X right now at Costco for $350. You got to do it.
It is true. Xbox One X with Fallout 76 and 2 controllers,
and 3 months of Game Pass.
Yeah, and 3 months. That's right. So I will say the one detractor, and it's not really detractor, it's just me being trained so far by as much battle royale as I play. Sound has always been a big element, whether you're playing PUBG to hear the people running across things or on a different floor or jumping through a window. Same thing at Fortnite. Like sound is a major gameplay element. Like you have to have good headphones or a good sound system to really hear where everybody is. I don't notice that in this game.
Really?
I don't know what you're talking about because I play with headphones and I hear footsteps all over.
Same here.
See, I don't hear anybody until like they're right near me. Which
what are you playing on?
X.
Are you using the Dolby Atmos?
I'm playing on PS4.
Maybe, I don't know.
All right, so you gotta turn on that Dolby Atmos for sure because that's amazing. Anyway, but if I don't know what your problem is because I hear footsteps and I see people coming and I hear them before I see them because they're above you or they're below you and you can hear those footsteps just faintly enough that you can kind of spatially be aware of where they're at.
Yep. I hear all the footsteps. I hear the gunshots. Like I was able to find people because again, like you can land in and not know where anybody is.
I can hear the gunshots.
Just follow the gunfire, and then I was able to hear footsteps when they were in the little bunker above me or whatnot. So yeah, I was able to hear it all.
I do love. Sorry, I'm jumping back in. When you're jumping into the map, the little like the color streaks behind your characters, and then if you look around, you see all the other people's characters and streaks going off the different directions and ways. I love that. That's just really kind of cool. A nice little touch. Oh, and sorry. So like when the healer does their ultimate move and they drops in like the crate of goodies, the high level stuff. I was playing with Kyle on Xbox the other night, and hi Kyle, thank you for coming on Xbox. I was playing with Kyle, and he dropped down one of those because he was playing as the healer, and it was like the best thing ever because I needed something, and it was right there. I was like, holy crap, this is fantastic. Anyway, I'm done.
Okay. But you're going to talk right now.
There you have it.
Oh, but one more thing. So because it is Titanfall, and you see the little ships, not the ships, those pods coming down. It reminds me so much of Titanfall. Like when a Titan would drop down, it has that same little thing where it has that sonic boom and things come down, and you can watch the entire like comet fall as it comes. It's a really good game for just out of nowhere and free. I'm amazed.
Just the little touches, man. Just the little touches they do.
You'd think it was in the same universe. All right, so that's enough of the free game. Let's talk about one we had to pay for. So, Dev, I do know you're not playing this one, but you would express some interest in it. So I do want to hear your thoughts of what you've seen so far. But Nathan and I both are playing Kingdom Hearts Trace. So I believe Nathan.
Sorry, it's Kingdom Hearts 2.9 and then some.
Well, no, it's 2.9 is just the intro, and then it goes to 3.
And then some.
And then some.
And then some is 3.
Yeah, it's very weird. So yeah, playing Kingdom Hearts 3. I believe Nathan has played more than me based on when I saw him streaming the other day. Now, Nathan, have you played any other Kingdom Hearts, or is this your first one?
This is my first one.
Oh man, I feel so bad for you. So this is great, Dev. So you asked me before that you were interested in getting this game, but you didn't know if you could just jump in at this point. So this is gonna be great conversation because Nathan probably has no idea what's going on as far as the story, because I have played them all and I still have very idea what's going on in the story. So, I have beaten the first couple towns. I just wrapped up the Toy Story toy box area this morning, so that's where I left off. But I know you were there like a couple days ago, Nathan. So I don't know how much farther you made it on there so far.
So I did complete the Toy Story town, and then the one I did after that was the Tangled, the Kingdom of Korra.
Yep.
And that's the last one I did. So we're pretty close in where we are now. But so at the beginning you have the option to like watch these memories. There's like 6 memories that you can kind of get a little bit of a 3 or 4 minute cutscene per, kind of talking about some of the different entries in the story so far. I watched all of those because I figured that would bring me up to speed adequately. I got no clue what is supposed to be happening in this game. I thought Cloud was going to be in this game.
I don't know if he's in this one, but he was in the others.
And there was like a mention about him, like at the very first level. He's like a statue or something. And I don't know what's going on with the story, but at the same time, it's just like, this is Disney and this is just fun. And I don't know why it's so fun, but I just want to keep going back and playing more because here's another teacup ride.
Oh God, dude. So yeah. So to kind of rewind a little bit, Dev. So you have your traditional combat. You've probably seen the videos with, it's a hack and slash type game. You can cast spells through what honestly is probably a very complicated control scheme unless you just set up the shortcut buttons for it.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
The magic system is so stupid in Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
To try to cast magic, because the whole thing is built on, like you said, that kind of hack and slash in a way, just like the fast base action. But there's like this metal magic system where you can cast like fire and wind and other things. But you have to like say, hold on, guys, stop attacking me. I'm going to go down to my menu here for a second and press the B button and then go find something else and press A again. You better not move. You have to figure out how to do the quick
the shortcuts. That's what I have
shortcut.
on mind. Yeah. So it's like I just press, the trigger and a button, and I can do whatever certain spell I want or summon. Because you have summons. So you have your spells, as Nathan says, like the elemental spells, like you would in any Final Fantasy game. Then you have your summons, which instead of like the gods as you would do in Final Fantasy, they're Disney characters. So like I have Wreck-It Ralph right now who drops in and he smashes a whole bunch of stuff and refills your health at the same time. And then you have, depending on the characters you hit and kind of your combo chain you have built, you can summon attractions. So like they said, the teacup ride, Buzz Lightyear's blaster ride is one. You have like Splash Mountain and Thunder Mountain Railroad and
the pirate ship. Yeah.
It's like all these different things that kind of just like they're massive set piece attacks that after a while you're like, I mean, they do a ton of damage, but after a while you just kind of get sick of seeing them sometimes. Or if you're just trying to open a chest, like you're just trying to open a chest because it's the same button to open up a chest, and all of a sudden you unleash this like ridiculous major attack that you had queued up that you didn't really need at that moment. So
it's Bahamut again. Yeah.
That's exactly, but it's Disney characters, so it still makes it fun. But so the combat's odd if you're not used to it. Luckily, other than the attraction thing, because that's newer, it's been pretty much the same kind of weird combat system. Even that stupid, as Nathan said, the spell casting, that's been it that way since the first one. It's always been off. So I just rely on Donald to do all the spells for the most part.
I love the music though.
The music in the game is fantastic. So it's very Disney heavy, Disney inspired. So Toy Stories like that. You got Friend and Me like type music playing in the background. It's very chill, mellow. Voice acting is fantastic.
No, it's not. Hold on.
No,
wait.
Some characters are.
The first level is not fantastic. That was so bad when
Olympus?
What's his name? Yeah, when Hades was talking, and then Pete and what's her name?
Maleficent.
They just did not have any character in their voices, especially in that
the
first
inflection.
level.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm talking about with that, and it's just like there was that first level was so hard for me to get past.
It was more tutorial than anything, but yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that. It kind of was wanting to teach the basics before you had a whole bunch of other stuff. But after I got past that first level, I really started to enjoy it more and get into, just what was going on and just kind of letting myself go. When I first hopped into it, I had built up this expectation, like this is going to be like a Final Fantasy 15 type experience. And it is not. For anybody that has that, it is not. But once I was able to level set my expectations and be like, okay, this is just its own thing. This is just, this is kid friendly. This is, easier to kind of access and shouldn't be as convoluted as those other games. Although it does have some crazy convolution in it. It's fun to kind of pick up and play. It reminds me a lot of what I remember playing with, Disney Infinity. Did you guys play that much?
I did.
So
I didn't play it much, but I had it.
Yeah. I get vibes sometimes about Disney Infinity because you could take and put characters in places they didn't belong, and I love that aspect. But there's a lot of little just charm to this game and a lot of little nuance. Again, it's those little touches, right? So you have like little hidden Mickeys around, and you can pick up a phone and you can find all those. And then there's these space levels that just kind of just there.
They're very Star Fox like, the gummy ships.
That is not Star Fox.
It is very much like the early Star Fox.
That is not like the early Star Fox. That is like Star Fox jank on jank.
Have you played the very early Star Fox? You have the SNES Classic right behind you. Plug that bad boy in and tell me how Star Fox runs.
Game.
The first Star Fox is fantastic.
Janky.
It is fantastic, but it is jank as heck, which is very like the gummy ships are straight up a ripoff. That's why they're blocky too. Like it is a direct ripoff of the early Star Fox games.
No, until I see an Andros like head, I won't call it a ripoff. But
you came pretty close. You might.
I think I came pretty close at one point actually, but I even though I don't know anything with the story and I'm trying to figure things out, I'm confusing characters with other characters because there's guys that are named like Rexus and Raxus, and I'm like, what are you again? I want to play with the other guy though. Like you're playing as Sora with Donald and Goofy, but
Riku.
Then,
with
Mickey.
Then
there's the other guy with Mickey. I'm like, I want to go with Mickey. This looks cool. What's going on? And you get like one tease level, and I'm like, cool. What's going on here? And then you don't get, at least to this point, haven't had anything else. So I want to make sure, or I don't want to make sure. I'm about I would estimate halfway maybe through the game, at least through the worlds that I know exist. And I wish we had more content with the Disney and the other guy. With Mickey and the other guy so
Riku.
far.
Yeah, Riku's kind of been teased a lot, and a lot of people want to play as him because he's more the confident, badass kind of guy versus Sora, who's very much like Donald and Goofy. So like the pairings make a lot of sense as far as the story is concerned. But yeah, I meant the voice acting as far as the
we were talking about voice acting.
The accuracy of the people. So like in the Olympus level, that was everybody from Hercules that did all the voices. So it was like, it was very accurate. Toy Story wasn't 100% accurate, but it was pretty darn close. So that actually wasn't Tim Allen, which I thought it wasn't when it was Buzz. I was like, but it was really darn close. And it wasn't Tom Hanks, but it was Tom Hanks' brother who does a lot of voiceover work for his brother in movies. So they actually have the same voice, which I found funny. But everyone else was the same except for Sarge because he died, so you kind of can't get him to voice act anymore. Yeah. So it was a different guy who sounded similar, but a lot of them are pretty good, with the exception of I saw a video of Monsters Inc. Nathan. So unfortunately, when you get there, they got nobody from Monsters Inc. to do a voice, and the people that they got aren't very good. But
that sucks.
The people that were on the Tangled level, I think, are the people from Tangled.
So Rapunzel is not. It's not Mandy Moore. It is Zachary Levi doing the voice of Flynn Rider, but he's not doing the same voice he did in the movie.
Yeah, it was a little different, but it did sound like his voice.
And the mother is the same. So it is her.
The characters from the TV show then maybe? Is that the chick who's playing Rapunzel?
No, it's Mandy Moore is playing Rapunzel in the TV show.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't she do it in the game? That's weird.
I don't know. She might have been busy with This Is Us.
I don't know. Get busy living or get busy dying, whatever.
You're telling Mandy Moore to get busy? Anyway.
Did I mention I had a good evening so far?
Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts overall, I am loving it. I tweeted out the very first day after playing it. I said, you know what? I know it's going to be confusing to a lot of people jumping in for the first time. I'm glad Nathan is finding the charm in it, even though he's not 100% sure what's going on. Hopefully the ending makes sense. I don't know. I just know this is the last one. So if the ending doesn't make sense, I'm gonna be a little mad, but I've waited 13 years for this game. So I don't care if anybody else likes it. This is for me. Like I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So,
and I will say, I think I've told you this, Kevin, it's just like, as I play it, I'm like, I want to go back to Disney World. Like, this is making me want to go back to Disney World so much.
I am going in December, so I will be milking this for all it's worth. But yeah, I'm loving it. All right, so moving on. The next game I'm playing, I don't think either of you are playing it, but I do want to talk a little about is the Resident Evil 2 remake. So this, I'm not going to talk too much about it because everyone on the internet has. I will just say this is how you freaking do a remake, because they took this game from the ground up and didn't just kind of like, we're going to up-res the things. Like, no, this is rebuilt. They kept the same story. They kept the same like mechanics and stuff is still there. But man, this game looks great, plays great, is hard. So Resident Evil 7 wasn't that hard for me. Heck, even Resident Evil 4, I didn't have that much of a hard time with, but this one is tough. At no point have I felt confident in the amount of ammo or the weapons I had at any time, because the game just keeps you on edge the whole time. But it's a great atmospheric, true survival horror game, and not just the horror games we're kind of more used to nowadays. So if you are hesitant or on the fence about Resident Evil 2, if you enjoyed the Resident Evil games, don't hesitate, because this is the better version of Resident Evil 2. This might be the best Resident Evil game I've ever played. I will throw that out there like that. Yeah, Resident Evil 7 I loved, but it was all first person. It was a little bit different. This is the best classic style of Resident Evil game I've ever played, hands down.
I've been totally on the fence about it. Like I've seen, I'm kind of bought into the hype of RE2. I don't know, man. I'm really thinking about picking it up though, because it looks awesome. And then I saw a clip of somebody splicing in DMX every time Mr. X shows up.
Oh god,
and that had me rolling.
I gotta look at that up.
This could be a fun game to play. So I might check it out.
I'm almost done with the Leon campaign. I did stop when Kingdom Hearts came out because I wanted to have some time digging in with that, of course. So I'm kind of jumping between those two games. But then I'll jump into the Claire game right after too, because she's got a different story aspect. It's not the same game per se. There are similar paths, but a lot of it's different for the individual character. So yeah, Nathan, anything else you playing that we haven't talked about already?
I really think that's about it. Just the. I did play a little bit of the Anthem demo. Couple weeks ago.
Save that. We'll talk about Anthem later. We got Anthem later.
But I was just thinking, most of my time lately has been Kingdom Hearts, obviously since it came out, and then the Apex in the last couple of days. I've enjoyed both of those experiences so far. So I'm doing well on my gaming and stuff.
I'll say we've had a good start this year for gaming. It's crazy already.
But I did want to mention that I played a little bit of Smash Brothers again. So I haven't played much of that lately, but I got the Piranha Plant came out. So I wanted to check that out. I'm not super in love with the Piranha Plant character. It's kind of a little weird and wonky. But yeah. Oh, and I did play a little bit I did a couple more rounds of PUBG. It's been a while since I played that, so I went back in before Apex came out. It's better, than it was before. I had a lot of fun in that snow map, whatever it's called.
I can never remember the names of the map because the name is so weird, but yeah.
Like a Russian name or something. And then I played a little bit of Halo 5 Guardians. There was a community game night with the PSVG board with video game crew and Xbox Empire crossed together. And so we did some gaming over on Halo 5. And it's been a long time since I played that game. And it's really fun, included in Game Pass.
Which if you buy that bundle at Costco, you get 3 months free.
Exactly. So if y'all want a good time, you know what to do.
Oh boy.
X gonna give it to you.
Oh boy. Wow. Dev, save us. What else have you been playing, man?
Don't save us, Dev. We're right where we want to be.
Oh man. So I haven't turned on my Xbox since the Anthem Alpha, like 2 months ago. So there's no Xbox going on here.
I'm gonna take this thing and shake it and say shame, even though this is a PlayStation
controller.
Shame.
You sure can.
That's what he wants. He's like, all right.
I haven't played my PlayStation really much either. I mean, the only places I've played has been Apex this week. Other than that, I've really just played my Switch. It's just really weird. I have been exhausted as of late. Just work has been a lot. Life has been a lot. So instead of coming downstairs to play on the systems, I've actually been playing the Switch upstairs in bed while watching Netflix with the wife or watching some show or whatever. So I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells, which I'm really, really enjoying. Just the rogue-like game and going back and forth. It's kind of like Metroid, where you're trying to go through this entire map, but it's also a roguelike because every time you die, you go right back to the beginning. Certain things stay unlocked or whatnot. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Also playing the Football Heroes Turbo, which is actually a lot of fun. I mean, just playing football where you can punch people instead of getting tackled is just great. There's nothing like that at all.
Speaking of football, did you watch the game?
Unfortunately, I'm not talking about that though. All right. I don't know. We're not going there. Stupid Pats.
I think we should go there because I think you're probably on my side and we're outnumbering Kevin right now. So this is good for us.
But we lost.
Speak for themselves. We'll say you really don't have an argument here. So
it doesn't.
We
matter.
kept. I'm saying I don't say they kept the goat. They kept the goat out of the end zone, sir.
They did. It was a great defensive game, but the Pats find a way, as they not always do, but they often do. They find a way most of the time.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. I just next year.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Rams fan. I'm a Niners fan, so I don't really care about.
He was just going for whoever was against the Patriots. That's all you were doing.
That's pretty much how I roll in all sports.
Right?
I'm against all things New England, just anything in that area, in that general vicinity. So Celtics, Patriots,
Kevin
Boston,
Austin,
the Red Sox, just all of them. They can get out of here.
That's all right. Your whole entire team is being built around ex-Patriots now, so it's okay.
This is truth. Whatever. Anyway, so yes, playing the Football Heroes Turbo. That's a lot of fun. I'm on like year 2 or whatnot. Won the first championship on year 2 now. Other than that, I played a little bit of Smash, like just like Nathan, just check out the Piranha Plant, which I don't like and would never play with that character again. I'm gonna stick with my Little Mac and Ken and Ryu because those are the players I like the most.
I did see a tweet though that makes me want to play with the Piranha Plant through the classic mode. That they said that the final boss was pretty cool. So,
but then I have to play through the whole thing as the Piranha Plant.
Maybe something will click along the way, and you might actually find something that was okay with it.
Maybe doubtful. But
I'm still salty, man. I didn't get a Piranha Plant. I registered. I input my code. My Piranha Plant's not there. I'm pissed. So.
Nintendo,
Did you
fix
get
it.
the email?
Yeah, I did everything, and my Piranha plan is not there. I redeemed the code and everything, and I did it like day one. I got the code, put it in right away because I knew I'd forget before the deadline. So I was like, all right, I got the email and put the code in right away, redeemed it. Nada.
That is shenanigans.
So I got to try and get through to Nintendo customer support so I can get it. But
Did you get your console and your Switch, your game?
Mhm.
Okay.
Weird.
Did you try turning it off and on again?
yep, I shook it upside down. I unplugged it. I
Did
blew
you
it.
go
I was
on
like,
the
didn't do anything. I don't know. I tried.
I just realized this is the X Best Bycast, isn't it?
Oh my God, yes it is.
Oh
Jesus.
yeah.
So yeah,
we need to get
that's all
Josh
I've
in
been
here at some
playing.
point. Sorry, Dev.
It's all good. That's all I've been playing, other than the Anthem, which we will get into a little bit later, I guess.
Cool. Yes. So that wraps up what we've been playing. So it's time to jump into.
Does it wrap it up? Sorry.
Do you have something else to say about Apex? Just what?
I got lots to say about Apex. But I will
Move it
I will
on.
wait until next time.
Let's talk about the news of the week.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite news outlet on the Citadel.
So there's not much news this week, but we do have a couple topics we do want to touch on because Nathan is here. We don't want to make him wait until
X350 at Costco.
well, we are going to talk Xbox. So we don't want to make you wait a whole month to get it out of your system. So number one, we'll get this one out of the way first. Xbox Live coming to Nintendo Switch. So says Microsoft. Before I break it down, Nathan, talk about why you think it's going to be a big thing.
So it's really not going to be a big thing.
Oh, so you're just yanking my chain.
No,
You agree with me?
What you guys don't understand is that, so this was from a GDC announcement that was, hey, put your Xbox or put games using Xbox back end on Android, iOS, and Switch, right? And it's already there. There's already games that are using the Xbox Live ecosystem on all of those platforms. And it's not like you're going to have all of a sudden now a friends list and you can bounce back and forth between all these different consoles or anything. No, it's just using that ecosystem because they're putting content on there. So for instance, if you were to go on your iPhone and you pick up Wordament is an Xbox Live game. You sign in with your account, you earn achievements, and that's kind of just how it builds on their system. Same thing works across Android, and I'm assuming that that's the same kind of thing that you'll see on Switch. So it's not going to be this big revolutionary, oh my gosh, Xbox Live is now everywhere scenario. It's going to be subtle, and it's not going to replace Nintendo Online. It's not going to replace anything else that's already existing. It's just going to be an ecosystem that makes developers a little bit easier to kind of cross-pollinate on their user base and their numbers.
You are so reasonable about this. This is great because Nintendo Shack went on about some BS like Cuphead's coming to Nintendo Switch. I was like, no, Nathan's right. I have no rebuttal here. You are 100% right. That's exactly what this is going to be. And yet people are like hypothesizing like, no,
how would you,
it's like, no.
How would you go from Xbox Live being like the service being on Switch to meaning Cuphead? I don't understand how the two correlate. I don't get it.
Well, Donnie admits he doesn't play Xbox Live very often. Caro doesn't have an Xbox, so they just think this is how things work. I don't know. Like,
for somebody who loves Xbox and Game Pass and all that, I don't understand how Donnie doesn't. Donnie, we're gonna have words. That's all I have to say on that.
Fair enough. So to continue the Xbox news, though, I do want to point something out, and this stems from an article I was reading on Kotaku, so I'll give them some credit here. But it stems something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I know we've had some discussions in our Discord, discord.com/PSVG, and you can give me your thoughts here. Nathan, I'm a little more interested to see what you think here. Inside Xbox, this doesn't work. I'm sorry. So,
are you talking about the show itself?
Yes. So the most recent episode dropped yesterday, right? Clocked in just over 80 minutes with about 15 to 20 minutes of actual content and yet just a lot of banter and fluff pieces that really just kind of detracted from the thing. They spent 12 minutes discussing how Microsoft Studios has now changed the name to Xbox Game Studios. They didn't announce anything. They just simply said, hey, we want to make it clear that our focus is on the Xbox games. Thumbs up. But they went on for 12 minutes. They allowed Sea of Thieves to talk about an announcement coming later. So not even the announcement, just we're announcing an announcement, and they took 15 minutes on that. They did reveal some cool things. We got a new Crackdown trailer. We got a new Metro Exodus trailer. Like, those are cool, but it could have done a page out of Nintendo's book and done a 20-minute Nintendo Direct style thing, gotten all that same information out, and probably kept viewers. So viewership tanked. It started off on Mixer with about 10,000 viewers. By the end of the show was less than 5,000 because the length that went on YouTube showed similar numbers in decline as the show went on. The Halo announcement, everyone got psyched because they're talking about the Halo museum type experience that they're sending out, which is really cool. And they spent like 10 minutes on that, which I think that's fine because it's a new initiative. And then they did interviews with the folks working on Halo. But they didn't talk anything about the new Halo other than we have nothing new to announce or talk about at this time. So It's like you build Halo up, you get people pumped because that's like Nintendo talking about Mario, but saying we're not working on it. We have nothing to talk about Mario. It's like, no. Microsoft fans want to hear Halo. That word comes up. Your ears perk up. Gears of War, same thing. Like, you'll perk up the same way. Sony, if we hear, Uncharted or Last of Us, we're like, you have our attention. You can't use it and then say, but we have nothing to talk about this time. It's just nuts. So with this new initiative with doing these directs, kind of peeling away, not that they're leaving E3 because their presence isn't directly in the arena anymore, and Sony obviously has left E3, but this communication with the developers, the big three at this point, has radically changed over the past 12 months. With them not necessarily participating in every event or participating in different ways. They rely heavily on social media and these type of Inside Xbox, their podcasts that they do. It just doesn't seem to be effective in my mind for somebody that's doing, in my mind, everything great now. Game Pass is fantastic. Like, Microsoft seems to be doing everything right except for this, which this is probably a big crucial piece that they could get more people excited about things if executed correctly. So your thoughts on Inside Xbox and the state of the Xbox empire?
So is this like a Kevin hates everything and you hate the Xbox?
Kind of.
Okay. So here's my question to you, dear Kevin. What do you expect of these Inside Xbox events?
I would expect them to be a lot shorter and just be news, content, but be brief about it. We don't need the banter and the dragging out of so long. Like, precise, give me the news, give me my highlights, get me hyped, send me on my way to be excited about what I can play on my Xbox soon, or new features, or whatever the case is.
But why do you want it to be that?
Because Nintendo does it and it gets everybody excited, and I want to be excited about my Xbox.
So here we sit. We've been talking for about an hour about what?
Games.
And we've been doing so in what sort of fashion?
In a podcast.
And we do this how often?
But we're opinions.
But here's the point. They are obviously doing this from a marketing perspective, right? They see, hey, people seem to like these podcast things. Kids these days find them interesting. And people are watching Twitch where people just talk about the same thing hours on hours. Why can't we do something kind of in that same vein, and just hit our message, give some people some time to shine, give some product updates, because that's all this is, right? It's product updates.
Yep.
What's that store called? GameStop TV. They do that similar thing. If you go in there and you're watching GameStop TV, they have these little things go cycle through, and they have just these update pieces that are kind of like that. They're controlling the message. That's the point of these Inside Xbox events. And they're giving you regular content and updates from the platform holder itself directly. And for them to be talking directly to these, to consumers, there's nothing wrong with that. There should be nothing that we're like, oh, this is terrible or whatever, right? Because they're taking the time, they're making the effort to do so. And, whether it hits or not, that's individually based. But I'm sure that Microsoft has some sort of data or numbers that say, you know what, enough people are watching this that we got to keep doing it. And they've done it for a year and a half now, or at least more.
Yeah.
In the current iteration. It does the job. You just got to go into them expecting a product update. Those aren't the times that you're going to get brand new reveals. You're not going to get the groundbreaking news. You shouldn't expect that, because if you do, you're going to be let down. This is just going to be, hey, you know, these are the games that are out here on the platform. These are the cool things coming to Game Pass. This is what you can expect coming out soon. You know, this isn't going to be E3 level announcements. This isn't going to be, hey, here's the Halo 6 trailer out of nowhere.
Oh, sure.
You know, but if you have the expectation of this is a product update, it's exactly what it is from a business sense, from a consumer sense, and it does the job. They do it in a fashion that's slightly entertaining, not completely. You know, and I know a little bit something about entertaining. That's my opinion, my thought. So, you know, you can say that it's not working, it needs to go away, but at the same time, you're being hypocritical because we're doing the same thing, but with just opinions, and we're talking heads about what was said. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. But we can be honest about it, whereas a studio isn't going to say, like, Major Nelson isn't going to look at somebody and say the Halo announcement, like, oh, we have nothing else to announce. He's not going to be like, Bull, what are you guys working on? I want to hear some announcements. There's no way you have nothing to talk about. Like, you're not going to get factual. It's a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's a marketing. It's a commercial. It doesn't need to be 80 minutes long.
Yeah.
If they just
it up.
Right. They could do the same announcements. Like, there was news tidbits. They announced the Mortal Kombat character was returning. They announced, like I said, they had the trailers. There was content there that absolutely should be talked about, but not for 80 minutes. It could have fit in like 20 minutes and still given us all that stuff, still been the marketing piece, but they would have captured that whole audience for the whole time instead of trying to get people on the hook for 80 minutes.
Yeah. I've never seen an 80-minute product update. Product updates are supposed to be quick hits, you know.
Have you ever watched an Apple conference?
Those are not a product update. Those are announcements, and they're going there. This is the new thing, and we have it here, and we're going to show it to you. These are, we're working on stuff. Things are coming. Here's an announcement for an announcement. You don't need that for 80 minutes. Like, I think the Inside Xbox thing is good. It's just, there's too much fluff, and that's why you end up losing the viewership, and those viewers end up missing out on stuff because you're taking too long to get to the next thing.
Now, don't get me wrong. That's the same problem I had with Sony's press conference last year with the PS4 Pro announcement. That thing went on way too long. Like, they're doing better than Sony. I will give them that 100%. But they need to follow Nintendo's page and just.
Now you're comparing a singular PS4 Pro announcement to an ongoing.
I'm saying similar to that regards. I'm criticizing the same way I would have criticized that. I did criticize that Sony announcement. Like that, Sony doesn't do this at all. So they're already behind the 8 ball as far as I'm concerned. They should be doing something like this, but. It needs to be more, ironically enough, out of Nintendo's book. Just tighten it up. Give those announcements. Give those things. It's still a great commercial. You look at the fervor that comes out every time a Nintendo Direct is coming out or drops. You don't hear the same reactions for Inside Xbox. You get people more excited about Major Nelson's tweets than you do about his show.
That's because your audience for Nintendo builds fervor for everything.
So why can't Xbox?
Because we have jobs. We're busy. We don't build fervor. We're gonna wait, and we're gonna read the notes afterwards.
Because
full disclosure, I haven't watched the Inside Xbox yet because I got a job. I've been busy.
You ain't got 80 minutes.
I was like, you ain't got 80 minutes, but you had 15 minutes for a direct. Yep. You got 30 minutes for a direct.
I haven't seen a Nintendo Direct in ages either.
But you can go on a poop break at work and watch an entire Nintendo Direct. You cannot do it inside Xbox. They will call 911 on you if you're in there for that long.
Kevin,
first off, I don't poop anymore because I'm not hourly. So I work at least. And then secondly, if I am in there for 80 minutes, just leave me the heck alone, okay? I need the
time. Okay. All right. Let's rein it in. All right. So that's all I had on Xbox. But the real thing I want to talk about is we mentioned how great of a gaming year this is already, and we're 7 days into February, for crying out loud. But there are some big games coming in February, too, that I wanted to kind of talk about and pick your brains about and see what the excitement level is for. So starting with the next big one, I think it's the next big one on my calendar here.
Well, isn't that like the 14th,
Actually,
15th? Like you got 20 hitting?
Yeah, as we'll say, the big ones I want to talk about are all, well, 3 of them are on the 15th. So on February 15th, we'll start with this one then first. Crackdown 3.
Which, by the way, Crackdown 1 is now free for anybody that has it. They can just go in and claim Crackdown 1. Crackdown 1 remains a fantastic game. And if you have an Xbox One X, let's say you just bought one for $350 at Costco, and you go and play Crackdown 3, it's one of the titles that are now enhanced by Xbox One X. So anyway, you were saying.
So early previews are, to be honest, most are not great. It doesn't sound bad. Just sounds like a lot of things didn't end up happening that we were kind of shown or talked about early on, but we all kind of knew this was going to happen. Personally, I am excited for this game only because I'm not expecting a huge, massive AAA title out of this. I'm just expecting something I can have fun with. And I mean, Terry Crews, man, I'm on board for anything with Terry Crews. Yeah. So I'm just excited he's involved, and I know it's going to be at least fun. And I will say, I am anticipating this to be my most played Game Pass game easily. Like, I think the way Forza has its hooks on you, this will have its hooks on me, because this is more my style of game where I can see myself just having some fun and playing with. Because Sea of Thieves didn't hook me, Forza didn't hook me. There really hasn't been anything that's dropped out. State of Decay didn't hook me. Like, there really hasn't been something that's come out, day one to Game Pass that's gotten me. And I think this might be the one I'll be excited to have fun for. I don't think it's gonna be a great game, but it's a game I think I'm going to sink a lot of time into.
So with this game, think, as far as expectations go, think Recore.
Sure.
Right? That's kind of the analogy that I would recommend for this, because if you go in and you're expecting Halo, level of polish, level of detail, and everything else, you're not going to get that. You need to go back and play the original Crackdown to understand what it is. And, the decisions for the choices that they made for the art style and the things like that. But that being said, it is a game that's probably going to not hit people's expectations.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm looking forward to playing it on Game Pass. And if it's not for me, no harm, no foul. This is a game that I've been wanting to play for a while. I personally would like to have seen it evolved into a more modern looking game, but they're still wanting to kind of roll with that aesthetic of not cell shading, but kind of in that vein. Mm-hmm. And I feel like from the artistic direction, you'll see some pretty cool stuff. They've already, talked about using the power of the cloud with the destructible environments, things like that. I want to see how this all comes together and works. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I think are going to be more interesting than the actual impression that you get at first. So even if it doesn't hit for you and you don't like the controls and things like that, that's one thing. But if you want to just kind of look behind the scenes and just see how the whole thing functions, it's a pretty cool way to do that.
Dev, any interest in this one? I know it takes something special to get you to turn on that Xbox. Is Crackdown one of those things?
No, it's not. It's just I feel like this game is just too long in the tooth. Like, it was supposed to be like this big thing, and then it took forever, and it looks like it belongs on PlayStation 2. I honestly have no idea what this game is supposed to be from the stuff that I've actually seen on it. So I'll play it in June when I'm tired of Anthem and Destiny and maybe Metro. But honestly, I have zero hype for this game whatsoever.
All right, fair enough. So speaking of Metro Exodus also drops on the same day, February 15th, on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So it was recently announced that it will not be available on Steam for those people on PC. And instead, they've taken an exclusive deal to be on the Epic Game Store. So that's kind of an interesting twist there that kind of happened last minute in the 11th hour. But Metro Exodus, this is one that I was excited for when it was first announced and shown. But now with everything going on, I don't want to say I'm not excited for it. I think my likelihood of getting it and playing it anytime soon is out of the picture right now. It's going to be something I'm going to play way later on when it's on sale and or much cheaper. Nathan, any feelings about Metro Exodus? Any history there? Anything to get you to pull that trigger?
Oh my gosh. No, I've never played any of the other Metro games, even though I have them. They've always just been on the backlog. I'm not gonna play it. So unless it finds its way to Game Pass one day, maybe I'll check it out. But it's not one of those games where I'm going to make a rush out to play. There's very few games these days that I feel like qualified for having me to buy them on day one.
Yeah.
I haven't even. So here's the other thing. I've gotten maybe a couple hours into the new Tomb Raider game, right? And I bought it day one. I was ready to play it, and other things just came up and got in the way. And guess what? It's on Game Pass.
Yep.
So why did I even buy this game? There's very little reason for me to want to go out and try to buy things day one anymore, unless it's a game I know I'm going to want to play. If it's a Star Wars game, I'm there, obviously. Or if it's a game from a developer I trust, like, Cyberpunk with CD Projekt Red, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and just play it or buy it at least. But no, I got nothing that draws me to want to check out Metro when it comes out. Maybe if I had some more history with the franchise, but as it stands, unless you tell me, Kevin, that this is the best game that you've ever played in the world, then maybe I'll check it out. But until that point, I'm gonna stay away.
It's funny because you're not the first person I've heard say this. Like, oh yeah, I have all the Metro games. Never played them. Like, we all have those Metro games somehow. They were either on a crazy sale or whatever. And I've played a little bit of the redo, and it's okay. For me, it's just really slow, and that kind of what takes it away from me. Like, I can play a slow shooter. You look at like Fallout, that's a slow shooter. This is just different because it feels like it should be faster, and it's just not. Now, I don't know if that changes with this one, but the games have never been able to hook me in either. Like, this one just looked great from the trailers and stuff we saw. So, like I said, I'm interested, but for me, it's going to be a sale purchase, or, Game Pass or Games of Gold or PS Plus or whatever have you. But, Dev, any likelihood of you peeling one off for, Metro?
Not day one. I mean, we're in this weird thing where we know games are going to be way cheaper, and there's so many games for us to play that it's like, I can wait for it to go on sale for $30 or go to Game Pass or go to PS Plus, which I believe all of the Metro games have already done there.
Yep.
They're on PS Plus, or you get it, both of them for like $1. So as hyped as I am to play this game, had it came out in like maybe December or January, there would have been a much more likelihood of me picking it up day one. But when you're launching a week before Anthem, a game that I know I'm going to invest a lot of hours in, I don't see the point in spending $60 day one on a game that I'm not going to touch until May or June or something like that. So I definitely want to play it, but I'm going to wait a while until it goes on a good sale or on Game Pass, and then I'll pick it up and play it that way. But I mean, I definitely want to play it. It's got a bow. I love bows. So yeah.
Metro 2033 and Last Light Redo are both on Game Pass as well. So if you want to check out the series, you've got very easy ways to do so. But just wanted to toss that out there.
And if you buy an Xbox One X at Costco, you get 3 months of Game Pass for free.
Now you're talking.
So the last big title releasing on February 15th is one I do have pre-ordered for Donnie and myself. Thank you, GameShare. Far Cry New Dawn, an Xbox One, PS4, and PC. I am super pumped about this one. The most on this list, I think I'm excited for this one. This, in my mind, is that DLC we should have had for Far Cry 5 instead of the DLC we actually got. There's no multiplayer, no DLC being added to this New Dawn. It's just a campaign to play through single player. It takes place years after the events of Far Cry 5, so it is technically a sequel. So spoilers, if you didn't play Far Cry 5, you might not want to jump into New Dawn if you don't know how the game ended, or at least check out a trailer or something to find out how it ended. But I am very, very excited for this one. Dev, I know you were excited for, you had played Far Cry 5 and you were enjoying that game. Any hype level for New Dawn?
Heck yeah. I'm a little sad that I don't get to be on the bad guys team in this one. But other than that, yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. I will definitely be picking it up. Again, not day one just because of the time period that it comes out in. But I definitely am excited to go back into that world and see how it all wraps up years later.
Agreed. Nathan?
I've not played the new Far Cry, even though I think I bought it with Dev and we had this little arrangement like years ago about it. I still haven't played that game. I just did the very beginning thing to sit there and watch what happens when you don't do anything. That's all I've done. So technically I've beaten the game. But I don't know. I mean, and I wasn't really enthralled by this new trailer anyway. It just
Oh, really?
yeah, it just
Man,
didn't do
wow.
it for me. But at the same time, I don't have the affinity for that Far Cry universe. I have never played a Far Cry game. I own a lot of them. I have a lot of them, but still, I just need to go back and play some. But yeah, it's a game that I think, I bought on various sales, on dirt cheap digital sales. They have like the Primal and the other stuff like that, which is I equate this to Primal. How it's kind of like the off release using the same kind of map and stuff. It's like, is it $40?
Yes,
I think it's
Okay, so I think it's pretty good there. But anyway, not going to be a day one for me. I did want to mention too that they recently reiterated. They did not recently announce, by the way, since we're talking Ubisoft. The Assassin's Creed 3 is going to be remastered. Obviously, we knew that, and it's going to be released as part of the season pass for Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And what I didn't think that was announced, Assassin's Creed Liberation is going to come as part of that now too.
Yep.
And it's still not worth playing Assassin's Creed 3. But so moving on to the last one, because we're running a little bit long here, we have to mention the big hitter for February 22nd, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and that is the mighty Anthem. So I will go really, really super quick here. I have not played in the alpha. I have not played in the beta. I have not played any demos. I'm going to this game completely blind, yet I pre-ordered it over 6 months ago. Just want to point that out. So I'm jumping in full on, completely blind, and I love it. So I'm good to go. Dev, your experience so far with Anthem, and do you have this pre-ordered as well, right?
Yeah, I pre-ordered. So yeah, I pre-ordered a while back. I played the alpha, which was just it just showcased the flying, the being able to just be running and jump off and take off and fly and go underwater, and so it was seamless and it felt amazing. Like just the control, they've nailed the control for being able to move in that game. And then once you start to like really get into it and are nailing combos with your abilities and your gun and your other teammates, and being able to actually realize, oh wait, I don't have to stay on the ground and attack. I can be in the air. It just, they've definitely have stumbled upon something different that we haven't seen in the game yet, with the verticality of being able to combat. So I had a lot of fun with the alpha. Had a really good time with the first beta. Didn't play the demo that was just this past week. That was a lot more polished than the last one, but the alpha sold me right away. Like just the feel of the game, the look of the game, the fact that it is very story driven. Like you can tell just from your conversations with the NPCs in Fort Tarsis that there is a lot of story in this game. There's a lot of lore. There's going to be a lot of stuff to do, and these are the kind of games that really get me excited. Like just being able to invest and just go deep into a world is the type of games that I really like. So I can't wait. I'm definitely going to be 100% all in on Anthem and going to lose a lot of my life to it.
I have so many games I need to beat before this game comes out. It's not even funny. Nathan, Anthem, do anything for you? Have you participated in anything so far?
So I haven't pre-ordered. I did the pre-order of the Legendary Edition or whatever they called it. No, the Legion of Dawn. Yeah. Edition before I lost my Best Buy Gamer Club unlocked. So I have that 20% discount still in there. And I played the first weekend of the beta a little bit. So I had some exposure to the experience there. I liked what I saw. So I'm not expecting a ton from this game, to be honest. It's not going to be like the controls aren't Destiny, but I think it's cool because you're flying around and you've got the Iron Man aspect to it, which, speaks to me on a few different levels. And I feel like that's really the draw for me is that side. So I think I'll enjoy it. I enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda. A lot of people didn't. So BioWare still is decent for me as far as a storytelling company goes. And they brought back one of the OGs to kind of see this thing through. So I'm hopeful for it. I'm just thinking that it's in a tough spot because you got Division coming out just a couple weeks later. And Division looks really good. And that beta is starting right now. I haven't had a chance to check that out, but the first Division was fantastic. This game, Division 2, looks even like it's on another level. So they got competition. It's going to be stiff.
They do. It's going to be an argument for sure, but we'll visit that again in March as we talk about the games coming out in March that are big, because that's also a big month for gaming as well. That kind of starts with Division 2 and kind of rolls throughout the rest of the month. So that wraps it up for this week, everybody. We ran a little bit long, so I apologize. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But before we go, Nathan, where can people find you and what you are up to, sir?
Voiced by Nathan on the Twitters. Xbox Live is Spider Jedi. I have been up to doing taxes, so that's all done now. And, I'm going to review the TurboTax Deluxe for 2018 tax year. Just kidding. Not going to do that. And, that's it. Nothing crazy. I will be for our dear patrons out there. You'll be getting a little something from me a little soon on your audio feed, Patreon exclusive. So, maybe you've already heard it at this point, but just be on the lookout. How you doing?
There you go. Dev, where can people find you and what you are up to, sir?
You can find me on the Twitters at DevAtias. Come talk some trash. Or on our Discord at patreon.com/PSVG or something like that.
Something like that. Head over to the website, PSVG.blog. You can find the link.
Yeah, all that. You can find me there harassing Donnie, talking lots of trash, because that's just what I do. Or, find me at the OT. That's where I'm at. I'm not doing a whole lot much more right now, just gearing up for Anthem.
There you go. So lastly, as we wrap up this show, I do have one announcement to make. Over the past 2 years, as we mentioned earlier, doing PSVG has been an amazing experience, from talking to game developers to authors, befriending a Food Network star who may or may not be me, to reviewing games, covering conventions, coming up with ideas and helping produce shows. It's been an amazing ride.
Thank you for this amazing honor, Kevin. You did this so good.
Since the whole network evolution, we've been blessed to give others on our team a voice who we didn't always hear from all the time. People like Dev, who, you heard maybe once every month or 2 months or so, giving them a chance to shine and grow. The recent announcement of board video games being kind of promoted and pushed by Dice Tower is a huge thing, and getting most of our shows on their own feeds. I've been able to watch everybody grow and develop their own concepts and kind of hone their craft, and I couldn't be more proud of everybody on the team. So with that being said, it started to begin to leave a little time for Kevin to actually do stuff. Other shows have a set recording date and a set cast, so it kind of left me scrambling every week to find a crew with a date and time that would work for everybody. And it's not easy. So with that being said, this decision has probably been a long time coming, but I feel the network is in a good enough position after the long and hard work I've helped and put into this whole thing. It's time to probably pull that trigger. So effective right now, starting next week, I will no longer be hosting PSVG. So thank you to everyone for the love and support, the kind words, the opportunities. I really won't ever forget it. So next week, I will be co-hosting PSVG with our newest member and my permanent co-host, Mr. Lucas. Oh, wait, I just realized that sounded like I was about to quit. Ooh. Man, you guys. Yeah, sorry about that. No, totally not happening. My new co-host will be Mr. Lucas Rose from Flexibles, if you're not familiar with him. So he's finally, and we probably should have done this a long time, officially joining the PSVG family. So look forward to that, everyone. And as always, we ask that you never stop gaming.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.